Hey guys, so Nintendo released a video announcing an update for Mario Maker 2. So I want to take some time to quickly go over the video, analyze a little bit, and talk about some of the new items we'll be getting. So that being said, let's jump right in. So the first item we're getting is the Super Mario Bros. 2 mushroom. And this is really cool because instead of adding the new game style, they gave us this new power-up. So it's really smart from a developer standpoint, just really intelligent. So what are the things you can do with this new mushroom? So Mario acts as if he's in Super Mario Bros. 2. So he can jump on top of enemies, and instead of bouncing on them, he simply lands on them. This is pretty unique because now everything kind of becomes a flying buzzy beetle. So you can find some cool stuff to do with that. Now he can pick up enemies and he can toss them, and you can see here they even collect coins that way. Now, just the fact that he can pick up enemies is huge for Super Mario Bros. 1 because previously you could never do that with this game style. So that's a big change. Obviously picking up big enemies looks really cool as well. What's interesting about this bullet bill is that you can kind of ride it, jump on it. It's almost like the eggs that Birdo throws, except you like relaunch these bullet bills. And I'm curious to see if there's a limitation to how many times you can throw them. I would expect you could do it infinitely. So you jump on it, you pick it up, you throw it, relaunch it, jump on it again, ride it for a certain distance, and then pick it up. So that just these tiny little things, like you could make an entire level out of that, which is so cool. I'm sure you could do it with cannonballs too. That would be really interesting to see what happens with those. You probably just throw them instead of relaunching them though. Now, Chain Chomp, this is really interesting because while you're holding Chain Chomp, not only is he attacking enemies, but he also doesn't hurt you. And it's like having an entirely new power up. Not even counting the mushroom itself, just the ability to pick up Chain Chomp is something entirely unique. This is really cool as well. So Mario's ability to now pick up snowballs from any piece of ground, any piece of normal ground at least, is a game changer for, say, puzzle levels that use snowballs, or just a simple platforming challenge that uses a snowball as well. Because now you don't have to place a snowball. You can simply give him the power up, and instead of having to use like a reset door or a pipe with snowball in it, he can just universally pick up snowballs in the winter theme. Now the frog suit is great. This is something that people have been asking for a very long time. And I'm actually going to slow down the video just a hair. Now you can see, instead of having to press A each time, you're just using the directional pad to control him. And this makes water levels so much more palatable. And just the sheer ability to control him that much more easily is a game changer. And this is crazy here. This is obviously brand new, and this is going to add so much depth to using the frog suit. The ability to run on water like this is something we haven't seen in this game before like this. So you can do some really crazy things with this, especially in a level like this where the water level is variable. It's moving up, it's moving down, it's changing. What would be really cool is maybe make some sort of diving level where you use the frog suit to dive down, and then when you're ready, you use the top of the water as a platforming area to return to the top or something along those levels. I think that'd be really interesting. Also, this should be really cool in the night castle level theme because that also uses swimming physics, and there's also some really cool aesthetics in that theme that you don't often see, because that particular theme is sort of underutilized because you're forced to use underwater physics. But that's some pretty cool stuff about the frog suit. Now the power balloon, this is really interesting. They don't show it for very long, but it's very different from the Super Mario World power balloon. In the original, you were sort of on a timer, and in this one, it looks like you have a lot more control. You fly around, and I don't think you're on a timer. I feel like, in the way it looks, you will only lose it if you take a hit, sort of like a normal mushroom. And if you notice on the bottom here, it mentions this is only a Mario World specific item. And again, they don't really show it that long. The Super Acorn. This is so cool. It's a nice way to kind of round out the power-ups for NSMBU. And it gives you a bit more utility than the Propeller Mushroom does, because I believe you can sort of cling to walls with this. And you also have like a high rise if you press Z, similar to the Propeller. But it's also just cleaner looking, I feel. So this is really cool. We're still kind of missing the Ice Flower or the Penguin Suit. Those would be really cool additions. They add a lot of depth. But this, I'm happy with this addition for sure. The Boomerang Flower. This is really cool. This is 3D world only. And this is really unique. You can make some cool, like, traditional levels or some unique, like, setups for certain things. And what's interesting is it looks like, if you notice here, when Mario jumps, there's another clip later, but it doesn't follow him vertically, rather. It doesn't follow him horizontal. It doesn't follow him back vertically. It only follows him horizontally from the point that he threw it. So that's something interesting to keep in mind.
Slightly weird wearables also make an appearance.
Now these wearables are really interesting. The cannon box is really cool. You can make some shoot 'em up levels. It's nice to see it can activate question blocks. It can go through clear pipes. What other things can it do? Can it break hard blocks? Does it activate P switches? Does it activate bombs? I mean, it's an explosion in itself. So, what other things can it activate? That'll be really interesting to see how much damage this do to bosses. All these things come into play. You can make a cool boss fight out of this. I think that'd be awesome. And this is really interesting, the Propeller Box. If you notice, I'm going to slow this down again. Go to half speed. So if you look closely on the Propeller Box, you'll notice that it has 3 lights on it. And as soon as you do one spin, one of the lights goes out. So this is to indicate to the player how many spins they have before they can't do any more. And it looks like, if you watch again, it looks like, so there's 2 gone, then he's going to spin again, 3 gone, and when he lands, the lights turn back on. They turn back on immediately. So the second your feet touch the same way the Propeller Mushroom works in NSMBU, the Propeller Box works kind of the same way in 3D World, and it's exclusive to 3D World. And it's kind of nice because it gives a bit more depth than the standard Propeller Mushroom, and it kind of does the same thing. Just really interesting. Now the Red POW box, it acts the same way the Red POW does in this game style. And you'll also notice that the letters POW, they start to dim once you use it, because you only have 3 uses, and then it disappears. And each use dims one of the letters, which indicates, again, how many uses you have out of it. So just cool little details. And I could see some interesting puzzle levels made with that as well. Now the Goomba Mask, this is pretty wild. The enemies don't attack you while you're wearing it, and you look like a little Goomba, which is hilarious. What I'd be interested to see with this is how they interact with Boos, specifically, because I feel like you could make some pretty cool puzzle levels with this. You could make enemies either chase you or not chase you at very specific points in order to move them to places where you want them to be in order to trigger something, or things of that nature. Very interesting stuff. Another question is, in the clip, he jumps on Boom Boom's head, but we don't see what happens after. So the question is, does Boom Boom start chasing him after that, or does he just think he's still an enemy and doesn't care? So that'll be interesting to see when the update drops. That's just so cute. Now this is wild right here. This looks so cool. The Bullet Bill mask. Now, if you play Donkey Kong Country Returns, it's sort of reminiscent of the rocket levels. But I don't exactly know how you're going to activate this. Maybe you press A in the air, you hold A, because it looks like he's got some pretty good control. He's holding A, he drops it, holds A, he readjusts by dropping A and then re-holding A. Something along those lines. Now, in the video here, if you notice, he mentions, and I'm going to make it a little louder.
Much as you'd like while time remains.
Fly as much as you'd like while time remains. So that means one of two things. It means that there's a timer associated with the bullet bill mask that runs out if you burn it for too long, or maybe the bullet bill mask explodes, or he could simply be talking about the timer in the level, which I don't personally think makes sense. So the other question is, does the timer reset if you land on ground? How does that work? Can I bail out of the mask like it's a Yoshi, something like that? Just interesting stuff. So I guess we'll see when this actually drops. But this item is just fantastic. The Koopalings. This is something people waited for a long time as well. And they're all very unique. You can see Wendy throws these like rings at you, which is really interesting. And she jumps up and down like that. Wendy. This is cool. Morton, he ground pounds and then his projectiles follow the floor and they ride up the ceiling. Very cool. Very interesting. I foresee a lot of really interesting boss battles. And just the fighting them normally is such a great mix up from having, you know, just Bowser and Bowser Jr. and Boom Boom. And I think that was Roy. And what's interesting about him is he kind of buries himself onto a surface. If you notice here, if you focus on Roy up top here, he buries himself in the surface up here, but he reappears down here. So as long as there's blocks that he can reappear on, it looks like he can go pretty much anywhere. And it also applies to ceilings. So you'll see that here in a sec. Again, the ground pound's really cool. I believe this is Lemmy, who fires these bouncing balls at you, which you can jump on, and you can see Mario bumps into from the bottom there. It's very quick. I'll just put this at half speed again. So this is really cool. You see he bumps right into it. It doesn't damage him. So you can interact with them, and they're kind of blockers. So I feel like if you combine this with maybe some other enemies, you have a really interesting boss fight just at its core already. And this is cool too, because how did these... Oh, well, because he's Big Mario, so these broke. So this is just a combination of really cool stuff right here. And then you see Roy on the ceiling. Notice he's been on hard blocks the whole time. So that's interesting. Maybe he only buries into hard blocks. That's really cool. So maybe that's why he's doing it vertically here. Or on the ceiling, rather. And then this is... who is this? Larry, I think? He seems pretty standard. Like, he just runs at you, jumps around, and throws normal projectiles. But we'll see what happens. And then this is... or that was Iggy, rather. My bad. And then this is Ludwig. And you see he's sort of got like a double jump or a float of some sort here. And his projectiles split out into three like this. Very reminiscent of the Super Mario Bros. 3 style. Now, this is really cool. The Cursed Key. This is Super Mario Bros. 2. And if you'll also notice here, if you focus on Luigi, Luigi has the Super Mario Bros. 2 mushroom power-up. But if you watch him jump here, just as this section starts, you can see... Let me pull back just a little. Watch over here. You see he jumps, and he didn't... I'm going to have to just load again. He does not do a flutter jump, which indicates to me that the characters do not have unique abilities based on Super Mario Bros. 2. Yeah. Right here. So you see, he just jumps like normally. So again, that indicates to me that there are not unique abilities. It's just basically Mario. And what's cool about the Cursed Key is that it adds the unique feeling that the Super Mario Bros. 2 game style gives in the normal game. And when you combine it with the mushroom, it really makes you feel like you're playing Mario Bros. 2. I could definitely see this used in, either puzzle levels or some sort of chase level or traditional Mario Bros. 2 levels, which I expect we'll see a lot of once this launches. Really cool item. now on-off trampolines. Very cool. And especially what is amazing is finally the addition of on-off blocks in the 3D world style. We've been waiting for these for a while now, and I'm super excited that they're here. But the trampoline itself is really interesting. It's a pretty unique piece of ground, and could be super useful in making some sort of contraption, since it's tied to the on-off switch. Tying any item to the on-off switch really gives it a greater utility, and I feel like we need to see more items that can be tied to it. But yes, so again, the on-off blocks are a huge addition as well. Mecha Koopa is really cool. They kind of round out the Super Mario World enemy set, and these are really interesting. The red Koopas and the blue Koopas, Mecha Koopas rather. So the red Koopas are they're kind of glorified red bullet bills. They just shoot out these homing missiles at you. And now, obviously, the reason that these other ones are flying is because they're the winged versions. You see, these are stacked on top, but they don't have wings on them. So this is pretty interesting. And it looks like they explode at a set distance there, actually. You see that one's was actually glowing, so it indicates when it's going to explode. So slightly different than the homing missiles. And these blue ones are really interesting too. So they tell you when they're going to fire, and they break through these blocks. And it looks like they could probably break through hard blocks. And even here, specifically, you see Super Mario Bros. 2 Mushroom, and he's standing on the block, and he's kind of riding it. So you could make, like, I don't want to say excavation levels, but you could use it to sort of break blocks and extend your screen scroll. And what's really cool about the night theme is they have these jetpacks on them, so they can traverse these gaps. And now the biggest addition is the World Maker. And this is huge. I cannot overstate how important this is to Mario Maker. This is an absolute game changer. This adds so much depth to this game. This is a feature that so many people have wanted, and it makes levels have such important continuity. Lives matter, coins matter. You can combine level themes in a world to really immerse the player in that world. And I wanted to talk a little bit about the maker side of this. So you see, you have lives. It looks like you can set the starting lives, which is really important. So based on the difficulty you're going for, you can say, I want to start the player with, maybe 10 lives. I would hope we could go up to maybe 30 or 50 lives total. I think that would be a good starting point. If you look on the left here, or right rather, excuse me, you have the world bot. So it looks like you'll load in separately from course bot. So you'll have your individual course bot and your entire world bots. And I'm interested to see how many separate worlds or super worlds that we can make. Here you have, like, these look like Lego pieces to me. It's crazy. You have the levels that you can set. You have the bonuses. Then you have the pipe, which leads to, like, separate areas on your map or on your world. And then you have the Bowser level, the final level of your world.
To the castle. Build bridges. Create
And this is just really cool stuff.
and change the look of the land in
You can, add your own aesthetics. You can change the layout of this world, and you don't have to use a separate website anymore. It's all contained in the game. Massive, absolutely massive. And what's great is you can select the courses to set for your world, and you're not locked into anything. You can set a course, you can change the course, you can change the course icon.
even change your course.
Yep, you see all of these here. You have the normal, the water, the desert, snow, forest, ghost house, mini castle, airship, all the different enemies types. And I hope maybe they'll add more types just for this kind of stuff in smaller updates. but just so many things you can add. And it honestly makes me more, I'm very excited for the update. It makes me more excited for a potential sequel to this game, which ideally would have all of this stuff already incorporated into it when it would launch. And just the bonus houses are great too. You can give, you know, extra lives to the player.
To a far-off island to run through a wonderfully coin-filled course. You could really make your world stand out by changing the theme to underground, desert.
All these themes are really cool too. So let's see. You have the underground theme. Let's slow it down and play it. The underground, the desert theme, which looks great. The snow theme, which is, look at the snow theme. How cool is that? You have, you'll see it here in a sec. You have, the snow pokey is cool looking. You have Snowman Mario and Snowman Luigi. And what I really like is the separation. You can plot in the water too, which is really cool. And you have the separation of like the little islands with the pipe as well. I like that. So you got snow, you have sky. You see the rainbows replace the bridges. You have the forest here with a little ghost house and a little bonus house in the water. You have the lava theme, which looks great. The space theme, which is very reminiscent of like Star Road from Mario World. Just very, very exciting stuff.
A super world of up to 8 worlds and 40 different
Yep, so you have 4 worlds. You can put 5 courses in each world. That's 4, you know, normal courses and then like 1 Bowser level course.
Your very own super world in course
If you want to, you could do less.
all your ideas that couldn't be contained.
And then you see in the menu right before here, in the course world. So you can go from course world to super world in the menu here. In the menu over here. And then play these super worlds. And I'm sure each super world will have its own unique code that similar to course worlds that you can input and play through. This is really an incredible update. It adds so many things that people have wanted for such a long time. And you're seeing something unique here too. You can pluck clouds like they're pieces of sand in Mario Bros. 2. The interaction of multiplayer power balloons. More cannonball shots, the red POW. You're seeing a couple. You're seeing just the fact that he doesn't kill this red bullet bill, this homing bullet or bonsai bill. It creates an entirely new variation of level by adding 1 power up. This update is going to be incredible, and it's dropping tomorrow. So I'm incredibly excited, and I hope you guys are too. So I appreciate everybody watching this. Let me know in the comments below what you're most excited for in this update. Let me know what you guys thought of the video. I appreciate any constructive feedback. And thank you guys for watching again. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day.